This is Battlefield 6. We're here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is return to form for the Battlefield franchise, aiming to once again replicate the aesthetic and the grounded style of Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, while leaning a little bit on the gameplay, UI, mechanics, and setup of Battlefield 2042, which was a bit of a surprise. But it is nice to see Battlefield aiming to do something a little bit more, I guess you would say intensive in regards to the, well, visuals, the styling, and the, I don't know, intense, gritty realism, I suppose. They're all dead. Or, nope, I guess I can't revive you. Okay. It is what it is. But yeah, no, it's really cool to see Battlefield in a light that is very technically pushing, if that makes sense. Like, it looks visually fantastic. It brings in some really well-designed gameplay setups from Breakthrough to Conquest. We're currently doing this Breakthrough on Cairo. And yeah, kind of quick, fast-paced combat and action here for this initial showcase of the game. It really brings you back to that old school style, I guess, if you're familiar with that from many, many years ago. Because I guess Battlefield 4 would have been, yeah, well over a decade at this point, I guess. And kind of wild that we've had some heights, we've had some slips, and it seems like they're kind of really getting it right this time. At least from what I've sort of experienced thus far in the game. The return of set classes, some weapons, 2 classes. The time to kill is really, really quite intensive and fast, and it's neat to have kind of grounded guns and soldiers. Yeah, I've been saying that word a lot, but it is interesting to have something that's a little less cartoonish, a little bit more mature and realistic in its application, you know, until later on when they probably add sillier skins and stuff, and then of course the return of more in-depth destruction, which I believe has been really thoroughly missing in the recent Battlefield games. Like, yeah, there's actually not really been very in-depth destruction in Battlefield in quite a while. I still hold back to something like, say, you know, Bad Company 2, where you could literally level all of the buildings on the map. And then we went a little gimmicky with Levolution, which was still cool. And then, you know, Battlefield 1, 5 had some good map carving. But yeah, 2042 is very, very superficial destruction. So it is interesting to see, again, more of the map kind of getting carved out and destroyed. Which is, you know, again, really, really quite exciting that that is the case here. And as I said, I think the game looks fantastic. Like, it's really easy to spot out your enemies at a distance. Like, they stand out well enough, but at the same time, they blend in with the environment to a degree that feels kind of natural to the combat that's going on. Gonna have to definitely do some class work and customization and stuff, but not bad. Seems like ammo is a bit of a tougher thing to come across. But this is an interesting way to do, I guess you would say, breakthrough, a little bit of a tighter map setup here as we move through the map and maneuver within these more linear environments. It's definitely going to take a bit, and playing on several of the levels to really get a full vibe and feel for it, but definitely enjoying and vibing with what we got. So, technically, it seems like it's definitely leaning a lot on what we had with 2042. So this is the primary kind of mode. So what we're really going to be dealing with here is like a dynamic 4K at 60 FPS. We're going to have like HDR. We're going to have all the little audio stuff, and you know, and then you can go a little bit further, and you can go to the graphics, and you can change that to performance mode. So performance mode is going to kind of make that a little bit more of an aggressive scaling for resolution, but it's going to allow us to actually uncap the frame rate above 60 FPS. Now, we're not necessarily getting like a full 120 FPS. I mean, maybe there's like a little building you can go in or something, and you know, it'll run that well, and there's no enemies nearby, but you know, we're still getting above that 60 FPS threshold, which I think results-wise actually feels really, really great. Wow, we lost all our forces already? That was terrible. Okay, next match, I guess. Alright, the conflict continues. This time, we get to defend. And hopefully that goes well for us. Yeah, this kind of looks exactly like what the successor to Battlefield 4 probably should have looked like. You know, not talking about like Battlefield, 1 and stuff, obviously, those are different time periods, but you get what I mean, like a proper modern entry in the series. This is about what it should be. More intensive time to kill, fast deaths, gripping action. Yeah, this kind of feels right. It definitely does. I still can't kind of help but laugh a little bit about the fact that this feels so much like, 2042, which is hilarious, but, yeah, I'm kind of surprised by the breakthrough setup as well, because usually breakthrough is a lot more of a push straight forward and the change up of the vehicles and stuff, so we're going to have to see long-term how much this changes breakthrough mode, because that's usually my go-to option for, maps and stuff. So this is definitely a bit of a change-up, let's put it that way. Whoa, jeez. Well, the contextual leaning a little aggressive on that one. Definitely got me shot up. Can I get a revive? Medic! He was like right there, he could have come and saved me. Why didn't he do that? But anyways, I think performance mode is probably gonna be, like, it's quite nice, honestly. Save me, medic. Oh, there's those paddles I know and love. I don't think you charged it up enough, because I only got like 40% health and 50% health. But I guess I should be grateful. Most people don't revive at all. Yeah, I think the performance mode, definitely, if you have the VR and everything like that, that's going to be your... And I would say your recommended go-to on this one. But yeah, breakthrough is really weird. I'm so used to it being like more of a direct push. This is actually kind of throwing me off a bit. I like the time to kill. It's actually nice that people die fast. You can see what the destruction's like a little bit on the wall. Okay, apparently I don't have a very powerful thing. Okay, there we go. That went down. Hey, now that is very satisfying. It still looks like a video game for destruction, but I don't think we've had that level of like destruction in detail for a long time in like a shooter game. That's kind of exciting. I'm definitely not getting revived over here, so I will choose to fall down and respawn. I'm hoping the other team actually pushes the objective forward so we can see some other areas of the map. I'm definitely not going to make it easy to... What? Oh, the tank thing. That's another thing as well. I'm used to there being a lot more vehicles in Breakthrough. At least I think so. From what I recall, there was vehicle action. I play Breakthrough all the time, and it's like, it's weird that I'm not thinking of it correctly. No, I think I'm right. Yeah, there's usually vehicles and stuff in Breakthrough. A lot of my focus recently has been on Battlefield 4 Conquest, so that's what my mind's kind of going to. As far as most recent Battlefield stuff. You know, been doing some of that pre-hype action. Yeah, this is a very well-running experience. You know, when I had low health there, I couldn't use the stim. Keep forgetting I have the stim to use. Like with all the Battlefields, it just takes a little bit of time to kind of like get your bearings and sort of like, oh, okay, these are the mechanics, this is how it runs. I'll just spawn on the position here. So I love the detail, like I said, the environment itself, like it really does feel quite realistic. It's sort of like when you saw Battlefield 3 maybe for the first time, if you're that old. And they sort of showed off, like, when we were battling in the, it was like the Middle East level. And the building getting destroyed and stuff. It's just, it's got that level of, like, impressiveness for details, visually and fidelity-wise. Actually very excited to see the campaign aspect of this game. Just wondering if spawning on HQ might help for getting a new flanking route. Like, it looks really good. Like, the fidelity, the detail. They did some nice improvements for this, honestly. Like, just engine-wise and stuff, like, you can actually see some big upgrades on this one. Really makes you wonder what happened with 2042 at times, eh? Uh-oh. That's not good. No! The queue is too bad for me. No! Is it gonna recover, or... Oh, that's not good. Alright, the war wages back on after a few 100,000 Q. We're jumping into Conquest because now the menus in my game work. Wow, that is a lot of pop-in or load-in, I guess, happening there. Wow, that is... Okay, bam. You know, this map here reminds me of Battlefield 3 levels aesthetically, which is interesting. Am I crazy for thinking it's the scene? Is that what that map was called? I think something like that. When you're fighting in all the neighborhood areas, the river's right there. Yeah, I think that's what that is. Anyways, yeah, some good old Conquest action. Good sense of scale. Good open environment. I guess maybe a little bit of screen tearing on the uncapped mode, which isn't too crazy, but it holds it pretty well. Yeah, it's kind of, the grenade throwing too is kind of back to basics, because in like 2042 you kind of bring it out and then you throw it. This one you kind of just hurl the grenade. But yeah, you run out of ammo kind of quickly. I feel like you run out of ammo a little too fast almost. You only kill like a guy or two. I guess that promotes a little bit more team play, but still, it's like... You know, when you're out battling by yourself sometimes, it's hard to come across people. Yeah, so it's definitely got that 2042 sort of base that they built off of, and they just got rid of the silly stuff. Can I get a revive? Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, they definitely got it going on here. This is... It's gonna bring Battlefield to new heights, I think, actually. I see it, you know what I mean? Like, I see it. It's well polished. It's technically impressive. The destruction is great. The sense of scale is fantastic. Kind of builds upon what the best of the series was. You know, stylistically. Little adjustments here or there, but yeah, no, this is great. Can I get a respawn? There we go. Wow. That was a bad spawn for that dude. Genuinely is a bad spawn for that guy. No. Yeah, I only become slightly more delirious with every crash. I went back to the quality mode in case that might help. Ooh. I will try to fly the helicopter. Does anyone want to get on? I guess we already got a guy on. Anyways. Yeah, so... Anyways. Ugh. Yeah, this is reminding me of the good old days for helicopter flying. That is for sure. Trying to help capture this objective. Great sense of scale. Yeah, this definitely feels like a Battlefield map, but wow, the mountain technology has improved a lot across releases. I will say that. Dun 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 dun. This looks fantastic from like up perspective and everything like that. I'm just hoping I can make it through to the required time I need here because I am yeah, definitely getting exhausted. Well, I did everything I could. The helicopter's not too bad. Kind of feels like a rebalancing of how the helicopters used to fly back in the other Battlefield games. It is interesting because like it doesn't necessarily totally feel like, say, Battlefield 4, for instance, but it's definitely 2042, but a little bit more inspired by the gameplay setup of like, you know, Battlefield 4. I was kind of hoping I'd get a revive, considering there's several people nearby. Nobody? Okay. That's okay. I don't like getting revived. Yeah, I'm gonna assume the response to this will be very, very positive. More so than kind of what we had with 2042. It's nice to have maps that actually have like layerings of verticality and actual depth and detail to them. As in like the environment is actually kind of carved and curved. Sort of like Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, all the other Battlefields had. 2042 was sort of lacking until they started doing like post-launch maps or revamping the initial maps. You can see as I move through the environment how we kind of go up and down, we go around things. Like there's lots of cover, you're not just out in the open. And that was a huge problem with... Oh, actually, am I getting revived? Oh, my mistake. My mistake. That was a huge problem with 2042 was a lot of the maps very, very open. And no sense of cover at all, whereas this feels more traditional for Battlefield as far as map design goes, where we're actually kind of moving through and shifting by the environment, which I quite appreciate. But hey, at least with all the, you know, crashing and stuff like that, or freezing, we're at least getting a variety of different environments for you to see. And that's what's important. Let's do a little bit more destruction. Nice. See, that makes me feel like I'm playing Bad Company 2. See, other people will be a little bit more impressed with other stuff in the game, but for me, yeah, that takes me back to like Bad Company 2 stuff where you could actually shred the buildings. And seeing the rubble kind of come down and like it dissipates quickly and stuff, but it leaves like a little bit of a damaged area. Oh, that was quick fire right there. Yeah, and I love how reactive the environment is too when you're like kind of damaging it. You know, moving by it in a vehicle, things actually shred. I would say there still needs to be a bit more weight to the vehicle, if that makes sense. Like I'm kind of... Everything's falling apart like paper, but at least the environment looks like it kind of breaks a little bit naturally. I don't really feel it, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of like... It feels very 24D2-ish. 2042-ish, yeah, as far as like environment being a little paper mache-ish. I just have to excuse the fatigue aspect of it. Oh, there's an enemy tank right there. That's I get out of here. Kind of surprised I escaped that. But I ain't complaining. Well, that is very bad company to like as well, using the stim. Yeah, I'm vibing with what they got going on here. Definitely gonna get some good battlefield hours in this year, which is truly exciting. Why did people die so fast? Like, give me a chance to revive you, right? Or maybe people just aren't used to that in Battlefield? You just don't do revives? Okay, that's fair. If that's not what we're doing, that's not what we're doing. I accept. It's a shame 2042 didn't have the sort of realism and the gritty edge that this one does. Because that one might have been kind of thought about a little bit more fondly. Because it actually had some pretty good maps and DLC stuff, and it just kind of lacked like the grit that this seems to have. It's like they kind of saw that there was a bit of a foundation there, and they could build upon it. And that's the results that we're getting here. Yeah, I assume I'm not going to get a revive there at that point. But I appreciate the teammate saving me the first time. And spawn and get like a little jeep. Got any ATVs or no? Kind of missed the little robot dog. You know Clippy? It's a good dog. They nerfed him badly, but he was a good dog. And you can actually see the drag marks. Okay, cool. Or drag blood marks, I guess. Kinda was hoping for the kill on that one, but alright. Like, you actually feel like you're in a proper battlefield. And 5 vehicle damage. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I could have revived you, buddy. Yeah, I didn't stand a chance there. There's nobody nearby, so I'll just die and respawn. I really like the style of this map. Get a good amount of city, a good amount of outside area. I would have actually maybe, I guess it's on the side of a mountain, but I would have even left a little bit more breathing room, but no, this flows really nicely. The focus on tighter combat, I think, is good, turning out well for this game. It is a shame that we're losing higher player counts, though. Because that felt really, like, next-gen, and I think it's less about the fact that, like, the gameplay doesn't necessarily work with that. I think it's more about the fact that they weren't able to create maps that accustomed or accounted for that many players. Because again, 2042 is just supposed to be like a big battle royale thing, and yeah, I think it's more map design as opposed to player quantity issues. But no, this works really well. This looks good, plays well. Quite happy with it. Mostly just nice things to say. I think they absolutely have nailed it from what I've been playing thus far, and look forward to seeing the full package, I guess, right? Well, yeah, definitely a bit of a journey to get this video all put together to showcase the game, but I think the end results are pretty great. Good variety of setups, scenarios, and ways to see how this is kind of, playing and handling so far. I believe we're in for a bit of a treat with Battlefield, and Battlefield does look like it's actually a bit back into the competitive ring, and can't wait to see more of what it has to offer.